All right, man. What's good? I mean, I see that there's some bullshit popping off in the world. Man, I did not get to see Trill Boxing Talk this morning because I was putting on doing my video. But, in Main Event Mark, shout out to Main Event Mark, the behind the scenes newsmaster, I knew right away what was popping off, dude. And that, I have to say, is some cash money BS, man. Y'all got to go make sure y'all go support Black Fight Fan TV and 78 Source TV and let people know that type of shit is not going to stop, ain't going to stop the message. You know what I mean? I didn't get to hear what was going on in the show, so I can't speak. Only thing that I saw was it was said something about a prohibition against violent conversations or something like that. What's going on Underground Asylum, man? So some of y'all going to have to enlighten me and let me know what you guys were actually talking about in Trill Boxing Talk, because I didn't get a chance to see it, man. But let me say what's up to everybody. And we can talk, we can chop it up, man. We gonna, man, see, dude is whoo-wee. He said, salute for Fannon, MD 2020 Bannett said, what happened to the Trill Boxing show? It just cut off and never came back on. I don't know. It seems like YouTube shut it off. He probably had a moderator, and they probably had a moderator in there or something. Somebody that was manually was watching the show, and they triggered it and they cut it off. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. You know what I mean? That's some dog. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, man. He said, let me see. Architect One said, shout out LDBC. Architect One, shout out Brothers UK. Peace, brother Fannon. Excellent show yesterday. Should be taught in school. Well done. Thank you, man. Hey, man, I've been in school. I was in school 100 years, man. So you wind up learning that stuff. A lot of that stuff isn't taught in school, though. You got to go seek it out for yourself, man. Hamad S in the building. General Squirrels. Big Dose 513 in the building. He said, Big Dose Bandit, I heard about it, family. Don't make no assumptions until I hear from Black family. Yeah, only thing I know was I haven't talked to 78. I haven't talked to anybody, and I wasn't in the live stream at the time, was that it was related to, they said it was a violation of YouTube policies. That's what it says on the show. That I think that they removed. I don't know if I can still see what it is, man. But anyway, dude, it'll be all right, man. Cass, hey, man, thanks. Shout out to my new Patreon, Terry Rayfield. Much appreciate you, man. Just see that you just signed up for it. But we can continue the conversation. Somebody let me know what the conversation was, dude. We can sidetrack and keep it pumping. You know what I mean? Yeah, YouTube is tough, man. What's going on, Tim TV? Centos Boxing. What happened to Trill Boxing Talk? I think it was YouTube said it was a violation of I don't know, man. I can't tell you what was said because I wasn't on there. But most likely when that happens, that's because they feel like you violated a policy. Something that they have on there. You know what I mean? And it's very easy to do it considering what's going on in the world right now. You know what I mean? You got to be like, I don't know. So I'm going to speak I don't know. So nothing that I'm saying is any comment on what happened to Black Fight Fan TV and 78 show. Yeah, man, it's tough, man. You gotta like we were like my man. I thought OG Boxing Talk I was surprised OG Boxing Talk didn't get snatched off. Because my man Drew Titan don't fuck around. I speak in code, dog. I speak in a lot of code, but Drew Titan is like, fuck it, and says exactly what he wants to say. So I sit there like this, like, oh no. But sometimes, dog, it's got to be, man. You got to say what you got to say, man. And, sometimes, man, it demonstrates the issue, man. That's clear. I mean, there is no such thing as freedom of speech on YouTube. Okay, there is not that. However, there is a concept of somebody getting out there and being able to share ideas and have, conducting, productive conversations and all that. And, but it's their platform. This is what it is. It's their platform. And that's what I keep in mind. And that, but still, just like with everything else, I might be in the middle of my conversation and this shit just get thrown out. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, boop, just it would not surprise me at all, man. Even if you try to talk around the subject and you try to make sure you stay away from the edges of it, it's still very difficult, man. It's still very difficult. Drew Brees, Retro for Life 79 boxes said Drew Brees controversial stance. Oh, that's what they were talking about? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's a controversial topic, man, but I'll talk about it. Fuck Drew Brees. What you expect from Drew Brees? Drew Brees grew up right around where I grew up. I mean, not where I grew up, where I live. He lives like, that's a rich kid, dude. He's a fucking rich, spoiled ass kid. That's what he is, man. He's always been rich every day of his fucking life, from what I understand, because he went to Westlake. Westlake is a school of extremely wealthy people who are extremely focused on football. And if Drew Brees lives in that neighborhood, he's a Texan, number one. And even though, Austin is probably a little more liberal, but there you go. It doesn't even matter if it's liberal or not, because liberals, like somebody who put this on my page the other day, they were like, left wing, right wing, still part of the same bird. And he might be this type of dude, man. He's just, Drew Brees. Fuck Drew Brees. I never liked the Saints anyway. If you got a unification, you can go to the stream by looking in your message box. Oh, I did get a notification. Here, but I don't want to go through that, man. I'll let Black Fight Fan TV explain that to you guys, man. I'm not going to get in the middle of no, the OG shit wasn't taken down. No, I even left the shit up. But I try hard. Look, man. Did you hear Barack Obama talk yesterday in that town hall meeting he had? Did anybody see that? Yeah, Topo Chico, baby. I love the Topo Chico, homie. Well, much love in that super chat. Let me check out the super chat, man. I appreciate the support during these times, man, because it's hard on people. Fannon, what up? What's going on, Derek Grad? Much love in that super chat. In that super chat. Hey, I listen to KQKC. Dog, KQKC added some new twist to his super chat song, dog. What the fuck was I about to do? Damn, what the fuck I do? I just completely lost my focus. What up, Fannon? Black was breaking down the ways that they try to lessen the charges. What up, Fannon? Black was breaking down the ways that they may try to lessen the charges and then shut him down. Okay, yeah. If he was shut him down when he said it, that probably wasn't that. It was probably something a little bit earlier, because they don't run. I mean, they're not going to run real time. But yeah, I don't want to get into I didn't see it. But what's important is this, man. What's important is this. And I say this the same way that pretty much the way that Trill Boxing Talk started. And this is what happened. 78 Sports TV got suspended off his live stream for like 3 months. And 78 Sports TV was in that time slot. So Black Fight Fan gave his channel to 78 Sports TV, and they started the show Trill Boxing Talk. So Trill Boxing Talk really was, and then what I did related to that was we tried to push as many super chats and as much money as we could to 78 so that we could show people that the fact that this went away doesn't mean that he lost the support. So we tried to make it as if so that those guys didn't miss a beat. You know what I mean? So when Trill Boxing Talk comes back tomorrow, because I haven't heard anything, I mean, his channel is still up, right? So I doubt that's probably just like a copyright. It's probably just like a violation or something like that. But when it comes back, man, we got to do the same thing again, because that's a very important show. You know what I mean? And Black Fight Fan TV and you guys should understand that when Black Fight Fan TV did something that I would have felt uncomfortable doing, because I'm more risk adverse. But when he switched to Trill Boxing Talk and actually started spending his time talking about, political issues and all that stuff, hey, man, that was a risk that he took. And I think he took that risk for the greater good of the LDBC. So the first thing that you can do to support Black Fight Fan TV is he has He has a news website. So you should probably go, if you have a way to get I don't have it in front of me, but I joined it. Make sure that you go to 78, go to Black Fight Fan TV's Trill. I think it's Trill World News or something like that. And forgive me for not knowing it is outside my head, but go sign up for his page. Let everybody know, hey man, if we can't hear you here, we're gonna come support you on this in this other endeavor that you have going on. Because he has a new website that he has up. So please go support him in that. You know what I mean? That OG, that OG wasn't taken down. And I know for sure. What's going on, Matt Newcomb? Hey, I got a conversation for you, Matt Newcomb. Man, thank you so much. And I owe you a response on your question to the I went to the messages yesterday and I saw the message that I think it was your girlfriend, if not your wife. I believe she said girlfriend. I don't believe she said wife. Asked about Tiger Woods. So I responded to her. And I also saw that you had sent me a note. So I have to go back in there later to respond to that. But my figure was ladies first. Ladies first. And I responded to her. But man, let me tell you just briefly, dude. I'm gonna do a Patreon on that Tiger Woods thing that your girlfriend asked about. Because I think that I really do think people sometimes might not appreciate that the environment that Tiger Woods lives in. He's in a country club sport, and in a country club sport, it's the most extreme country club sport, golf. So what that dude has been surrounded by racism of being black his entire life, dude. This dude has had purple paint bombs shot at him in the middle of golf courses, okay? But what I think, and this is my theory on it, and I'll give you just a little bit of what the Patreon that I'm going to do on it is. My thought on it is this: that his infatuation with European women very well could be like the only true friendship and affection that he feels like he got in that environment. You know what I mean? It could be the way, like just subconsciously, where he is trying to fit in with the people that were so hard on him, man. Because I'm telling you, man, you go through and you have to really pay attention to what Tiger Woods, the things Tiger Woods said when he was young, what his father said, and then look at the transition when his father died, right? And the separation he had from his father. There ain't nobody Tiger Woods has held up to a higher standard than his father. And so, I have a little bit more. I used to be a caddy, right, on a golf course when I was a kid. I know how to play golf, but I was just a caddy. And I was around those country clubs, dude. And I'm like, oh, Lord. And my daughter's a tennis player. And I'm telling you, ain't nothing they hate worse than seeing that coming up. Okay? To see Tiger Woods walking in a golf course, dude, is offensive to the eyes of some of those people, dude. So anyway, Obama full of BS as usual. Oh, Cass, no, what I was saying about Obama is he's very, very careful with his words. So essentially, dude, you see him do things like, how can I phrase this? How can I phrase this? How can I phrase this? How can I phrase this in a way that is not going to offend somebody? How can I phrase this in a way where you can't get a soundbite out of me? You know what I mean? Like he is in full politician. He is in full politician mode, right? That probably is not what he thinks or the way that he would speak if he was just with his wife or with his kids or somebody that he trusted. But when he's out there, talking in front of something that's going to be seen by millions and millions of people, dude, he's not going to speak the way that he would normally speak, right? Same thing, like if you look at the way that Brian Custer was speaking to barbershop conversations on that interview, and you listen to the way that he speaks when he interviewed Errol Spence Jr., those are two different, though it didn't sound completely like two different people, but they sounded significantly different. And yeah, so Barack Obama is always walking around on eggshells. Now, I never had great faith in Barack Obama, but not because of Barack Obama. I never had great faith in Barack Obama because of the nature of politics. And the fact that, and you should consider this sometimes when you choose the job that you go into. Our opinions and worldview is based on our experiences, right? The things that have happened to us, the people that have been around us, right? The thoughts of people the thoughts and opinion of people that we respect, right? Those all help you become the person that you're going to become. But when you when you transition into your job, your experiences and viewpoints will be affected by the people around you, because that's who you talk to every day. That's who you interact with every day. And even though you might not go all the way over there to agreeing to all of their points, you have a tendency to come closer and closer to them just because you've had exposure to the ideas where you might not necessarily have as much exposure to those ideas before. So the roles that people take on and in their job, right? There's a personal portion to it, but there's also roles that certain things and certain viewpoints that you get just by the very nature of being in the role that you're serving, right? So as a person, I believe with all my heart that Michelle Obama is a terrific person. I really, truly do believe that. And I really do believe and truly believe that Barack Obama went into politics and went into things to do good things for people, right? However, when you run into a gigantic bureaucracy and you have this guy coming, this young lady coming, this woman coming, and you have this issue and that issue, and you can't, eventually, man, you're driving, you're in the ship, but that ship, you can't steer that ship like you might have thought you could, you know? So I don't blame him personally for everything that transpired under his administration, nor do I blame him personally, you know, for what I consider to be some significant failures in his administration, right? Because I never had that, I never was fooled. Well, not fooled. I don't say I never did, but having went through college and been and focusing on political science, focusing on sociology, having worked on different campaigns, having worked and known people that came out of law school or came out of undergrad and then became politicians, I see how they've moved. So I didn't expect anything different from him. I think that we have to get out of this. Or not, we don't have to get out of it. I'm going to tell you what I don't do. I don't put too much focus on any individual and what an individual has done or not done. For me, I'm looking at the entire system and how it operates, and there are limitations to what any individual can do about it, because it's going to take a collective effort and a real fundamental change in the viewpoint of people, of a lot of people in those positions to make substantial change. And even then it might not happen, right? That's why I totally reject that idea that, you know, shut up and vote. Because you're just putting you're just saying, okay, I vote for that politician. I trust him or I trust her, right, to do what they're going to do. And you're going to be disappointed every time. Because that's the cult of personality, you know. When you focus on the personality, you're not focusing on the real issue. And the issue is the structural issues and systematic issues of the system that continue to repeat themselves because they're part and parcel to that particular organization. You know what I mean? I don't think he's full of shit. He's a politician. Well, he is full of shit. He's a politician. You know what I mean? That's what they are. They're full of shit. Terrence Bailey, senior man, shout out to you, man. Love the back and forths on love the back and forth that we have on Twitter, man. Thank you. I know you sent me another message, so I'm going to respond to that a little bit later today because I just got a lot of stuff to do. But understand that I did get the notification where you sent me that message. Big Doe said all LDBC content is important, from you to Trill to Blue Blood, and all are very important. This is our brotherhood and sisterhood. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, hey, I think it is too. I think it's all important. Man Newcomb thinks she was hot. Hey, dog, she's an AKA Anna. No, she don't like that, dog. They think Tiger Woods is a sellout, dog. So she's an AKA. Most likely she's a black woman. So you know they don't like that, dog. Nah, Tiger Woods ain't got no love for the. Hey, Tiger Woods dated one black chick in Stanford. She gave him a headache, and he ain't went back. Don't worry though. Tiger Woods will be with a black chick eventually, dog. Eventually, it'll happen, dog. One of y'all need to get that boy some. Some of y'all need to go approach that boy. Terry Gooch said, "Very solid punch." Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. I'm not down with all this intersectionality BS. I'm not sure what that intersectionality. What do you mean? Like a bunch of different like interest groups or people, and then bringing them behind this particular tragedy? You know, hey man, if that's what you mean by intersectionality, yeah, I'm not down with it either, dude. Tyson Fury, I can't say it because I need you guys to watch the video. Tyson Fury is out there, man. Tyson Fury, man. Tyson Fury. Man, wait for the video later today, man. L said Tiger is going to have to come back to black. Hey, dude, Tiger Black, you can't leave black. That's my thing, dude. You can't leave it. You can't go nowhere for that. You can't go. But, dude, if you ain't never been on a golf course, if you ain't never been in a golf course in Georgia, then, man, come on, dude. The Masters? This dude is playing in the Masters. Dude, I'm just happy the dude showed you that black folk will whoop your ass in that golf, dog. The greatest golfer ever to pick up a club is Tiger Woods. And by the way, Tiger Woods also, when Charlie Sifford died, he was a pallbearer for Charlie Sifford. A palm-bearer for Charlie Sifford. Charlie Sifford is a professional black professional golfer, and I do believe he was in the 1960s and 1970s, but one of the first major golfers to be on the tour who experienced a ton of discrimination. And he was a mentor and a friend to Tiger Woods. And when he passed, Tiger Woods was a pallbearer in his funeral. And so that tells you, dude, if he didn't think he was black and didn't have any respect for black people, dude, he wouldn't have done that shit, man. He wouldn't have done that. But he's gonna have a hard time because he chases white women around. You know what I mean? Yeah, right, bro. Yeah, shout out to Charlie Sifford. Yes, sir. He's a real dude, man. And here's a story too. Here's another story about Tiger Woods to me that I was like, man, come on, man. This dude knows he's black. I have a friend who has a friend. And this is two conversations I've had like this, right? Because somebody said that David Robinson was a coon. You remember David Robinson from the San Antonio Spurs center in the 90s and maybe up into the early 2000s? Dude, we were like, oh man, that dude's a Tom. Somebody was like, man, that dude's a Tom. I thought he was. And this dude that knew him, he's like, man, hell no. He is not at all. Because it was his boy. He's like, man, he ain't like that at all. He just is not going to speak. He's just not the type of person he's a military guy. You know, he's in the Naval Academy. So he's not going to run off about, he's an officer in the Navy. You know what I mean? That's what he went to. He went to the Naval Academy. So he's a military dude. That's what he thinks. Tyson Fury. Tiger Woods is a son of a military guy. Dude, he's raised with a military mindset. And he has a lot of respect for the military. And why would that be? Because his father was in the military, right? So not everybody is going to be outspoken. Not every black person is going to tell you exactly what it is on their mind when there's a camera in their face. But that doesn't mean that they don't think that they're black or know that they're black. And on top of it, Tiger Woods doesn't have any choice. So he doesn't have any choice in the matter. You know what I mean? And I would be upset if just because I like to date a bunch of white women that I no longer could be Negro. You know what I mean? And I don't. You know what I mean? I find something look like it though. And them AKAs shouldn't even be mad about it. Go tell you. And them AKAs shouldn't be mad at it because you know they got all them light bright almost whites up in there taking advantage of that privilege. Now she might not be. I don't know. I'm just kind of playing. St. Anthony just said, I like one. I got one. There's a bunch of black dudes that date white women that ain't Toms. You know what I mean? They just Some people think whatever reason they do it, they do it. I personally, hey, dude, I'm not. Now I just know how my sisters and my mama would act. So I'm like, nah, I'll find somebody that I like. You know what I mean? Pimpin' kin. Use them words. What's pimpin' kin? Oh, pimpin' kin. Hey, he said, okay, he goes ghost when we have issues. He's the biggest asshole we supposed to have. But that wasn't the case. Man, dude, look, man. Yes, the Admiral. Yes, Hamad S. Look, man. You guys got to stop thinking politicians are going to save you. They are not. Politicians, by and large, go into politics for the same reason that, by and large, people go into the military. To be successful, to make money. And what they'll do is they will go into politics with the idea that they're going to serve a couple times in a couple offices. And eventually, when they're in there, they're going to figure out, damn, how I really make money is when I get out. So many of them, not all of them, but many of them are not going to do anything that will prevent them from earning a living when they get out of that office. One perfect example of that, and people might not know this, Barry, rest in peace. Marion Barry, the mayor for the Washington, D.C. He would have never, after he got, put out of office, he's smoking some because he's getting high, right? As if these other people ain't getting high. Like, fuck, please. Like Marion Barry's the only one. All you did is chase his ass around and get it on tape. Okay. The rest of these people doing it just like he doing it. But anyway, the reason he had to come back into politics is because he was so ostracized that nobody in the DC establishment would give him a job to the point where he would be able to take care of himself. But what did he do? What got him in that situation? By giving all that business when he was a mayor of DC to black people in DC. Marion Barry was loved in DC because he took, similar to what Maynard Jackson tried to do in Atlanta. They were making sure that the dollars that were in the city, right, that was largely a black population, went to black businesses, right? Not a difficult concept, but a dangerous concept if there's a bunch of people that already have the business that don't want that business to go to other people, right? So when he went out, there was nobody else. There was no big time jobs for him, no big real estate jobs, But now, dude, I ain't gonna tell you about it, but man, these dudes be coming out of being mayor and going to positions where they making more money than they did when they were mayor. Presidents of universities, advisory board, on boards of advisors for corporations. That's the game that they're playing, man. So if you think that these people that many of them, now I'm not saying all, many of these people are really gonna push a radical agenda when they have a term limit, you know what I mean? Now you might in Congress have somebody that is more likely to do that because there's no term limit for congressional seats, and there's no term limit. I don't believe for Senate seats. But president, there's a term limit for a reason. Mayors, there's a term limit for a reason, because a mayor is in the executive office. There's term limits because they don't want one person being able to dictate, and provide for people for too long. Then because they want to be able to just bring him in, bring him out, bring somebody that supports me in. When he goes out, the next guy that supports me is in. And because there's always every 8 years somebody that needs to get in, there's always going to be an opportunity to make sure that you have control over them and continue to keep control over the buying cycles that take place in government. At least that's my point of view. And that's just my observation. If there's somebody that's more educated on the subject that has a different opinion, hey man, let me know your different opinion. Terrence Bailey Sr. said, retired at 40, Army. Yes, sir. Much love in that super chat. Yeah, and being in the Army, you can't help but adopt many of the viewpoints of people in the military. You know what I mean? After a while, you're going to wind up thinking differently. Carlo Realist You sound like who's Carlo? Where's Carlo Realist? What'd he say? Anyway, man, you making me having a nerdy ass conversation. All right, I don't mean to be a nerd today. Obama don't have no fake birth certificate, dude. That dude would have never, ever got elected with a fake birth certificate. How powerful you think Negroes are, though? You think people can concoct a birth certificate for the presidency of the United States? Dude, they will go to the fucking hospital. They will go to the hospital. And nah, dude, you can't get away with that, man. You know them politicians be getting high on drugs that they can't even afford. Dude, you know them dudes be. Oh, Drew Tyson said, you missed my super chat. My bad. Oh, I missed a bunch of super chats, dude. My bad. Terrence Bay said, peace and blessings. Matt Newcombs, thanks for now. She was hot. Yeah, no worries, man. And tell her, hey, I can respect her viewpoint. Drew Titan versus Drew Brees in a fight. Who wins? Oh, Drew Titan. Drew Titan. Man, please. Easy money. Easy money, Drew Titan. And Terrence Bailey retired at 40 Army. Yeah, man. That's easy money for you, dude. Why are you trying to pick fights with spoiled rich boys? I mean, he's spoiled, and he spoiled the position that he plays is a spoiled fucking position. Like, I never met bigger assholes in my life than quarterbacks. Like, they're trained to be jackasses. I think they're all I think they're jackasses. Especially that dude. I never liked Drew Brees. Politicians are literally nominated by that who know they are going to go along. We only choose who they allow us to choose from. Well, that's the essence of the two-party system. Right? I had a text from my dad today. A text from my dad. Please promise me that you're going to vote in November. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I got to get my Texas ID because they shut down the driver's license facility. So I have to go get my Texas license and driver's ID. And then, yeah, I would vote. Maybe. Because quite honestly, as terrible as these things are, hey, maybe there's two ways to look at it. If there wasn't an idiot as big as Donald Trump, maybe the shit wouldn't be so obvious, right? Because he's so heavy-handed, because he so much overdoes it, that it makes everybody, that the actions that other people make look also exposes what other people do. You cannot turn your head from it. You know what I mean? I said the Republican Party was started in Texas by 50 blacks and 20 whites in 1865. Hey, okay. Said the same thing. What is that, man? We can we can only choose people already chosen for us. Yeah, that's what it is. And they're not chosen by direct vote. They're chosen by delegates. If you understand the system, you know you don't vote for the president. You don't even vote for the presidency. Why would it be? You think that it's just accidentally that complicated and diluted with that many levers that you can pull to prevent the outcome from being something that they don't want the outcome to be? Hey, it's the African sci-fi scholar, much love in that super chat. He said, super chat. I want to steal say KQKC singing. That shit is the greatest. That's the greatest hook. I love it, man. Marion Barry played a huge part in creating the wealthiest black county in the United States, Prince George's County. Yeah, exactly. Because people went over there, they got the business from DC, were making money in DC, went out and moved to PG County. Absolutely. So what's wrong with the dude getting a little trim on the side? A little trim. They don't even want to get the man to get no trim, dog. They don't want the man to get no trim. But anyway, man, I don't want to do too much of this political stuff because I want my shit to get shut down in the middle of my speech. In the middle of am I giving a speech? In the middle of our live stream. That's a better way to say it. You know what I mean? So anyway, man, let's talk about a little bit of boxing. Oh, too much. Voting is an opinion poll, and the electoral college selects the president. Yeah. And it's up to them whether or not they want to follow what the people told them to do. It's absolutely unnecessary. But there ain't no interest in that. Is a dog and pony show, dude. It's a dog and pony show. But people keep trying to, and it's real. Now, who it is real to, I'll tell you who it is real, who those elections are very real to. Very, very wealthy people. Because if one group of wealthy people get the guy that they want in office, that may screw up what the other group of wealthy people are trying to do and start messing with their money. So it seems to me that the president is really, or the elections, at least on the national level, really affect the politics, at least the way that it's operating now, really affects the which part of the 1% is going to prosper the most. Will it be the ones that have their businesses in the United States and do not need to move their operations overseas? Or is in that, because that would be the conservative nationalists, or would it be the neoliberals who want to take advantage of the low income, of the low cost of labor in other countries, right? And the lower cost of manufacturing in other countries, and then to make their products and then sell them back into the United States, where they not only do not have to employ people at higher rates, right? Then they get to sell it at a higher cost. And it seems to me to be a battle between the two, and a very, high level view of it. I heard all the Pleasants are related to each other. Everybody's related to each other. So everybody's related to each other. So you're related to a president. I wouldn't be surprised, dude. Especially in the United States. Do you know how many? Now I know that they're saying it's his mother. They was descended from a president. Dude, but if your family name is Washington, Jefferson, Jackson, Adams, if your name is the same name as a president or somebody that found one of the founders, you're probably related to him. If you're black. Now, if you're white, more than likely you just came over from Great Britain at a different time. But a Washington, there's a significant chance that you are actually descended, if not directly from George Washington, from some Washington that was related to George Washington. There wasn't that many people in the United States. There was a lot of slaves, and they had a lot of women slaves, and were running around like Epstein. Now that's the crazy thing. Did you guys get what's going on, Aaron Finney? Did you guys get an opportunity to see that he said this is true, Fannon. They low-key claim they're bastards. Yeah, because they wanted their bastards to do well, and their bastards wound up being the ones that were responsible for overseeing everybody else. Yeah, there's some, I'm sure they had some they knew they were their children. So they probably did make sure that they were in a little bit better situation. But maybe they did, but still, they're sitting there with their wives. How you think they got treated by their wives? How many women do you think were having babies by their husbands and their wives didn't know, and something crazy didn't happen to them babies and didn't happen to them women? Anyway, my son ordered some food. What's going on, Dre's Finest? From a money standpoint, Fannon, how can nationalists compete with world traders? I don't think that you can at this point in time. Not compete. You can't dial it back. I don't think you can in a capitalist system. I don't think you can, because the driving motivation behind capitalism is profit. And wherever you have a lower cost of production, you're going to be able to sell your prices you're going to be able to sell your product for less, higher quality products for less. It's almost impossible to compete against that. You won't be able to. And in fact, there's an argument that nationalism is a cause of many violent confrontations. Because once RSA Boxing, salute, man, said, salute, brother Fannon, sincerely appreciate your educated, informative rant the other day. Hey, I'm glad you did. Thank you, man. I was ranting the shit out of something. You should have heard the YouTube. You sure the Patreon rant, dude. I lost my mind, man. I'm like, God, dog. If I see one more protester that I don't believe for nothing, it's like, for me, it's like watching protests with the people that I grew up with. Like, man, you telling me that there's a protest there? Nah, they ain't protesting. They ain't protesting black people getting hurt. They might be protesting something, but they ain't protesting that. Hell no. Don't lie to me. These people are not protesting that in Russia. Okay? Because if people were that offended they're not protesting wherever they're protesting, like, all these different countries. No, dude, they're protesting that dynamic that I'm talking to you about. The nationalist and the international and the internationalists, I guess that's a better way. You know what I mean? The open borders, right? International trade agreements, all the neoliberal stuff, the regime change policies that are necessary to ensure that you have access to their labor, to their raw materials. That's all directly coordinated with capitalism. In capitalism, you can't do that because profit is the major motivation. It's the end of it. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Like, for example, why do you think that we were not prepared for Corona? It's obvious why we were not prepared for Corona. And it's because there's no business. It is not profitable to keep extra ventilators in storage just in case you have a pandemic, right? So we're unprepared because it's not profitable. But the government buying, I don't know how many, 100,000 ventilators and having them sit in a building, and if they get old, replacing them just in case, right? Something like this happens, so we'll be ready. If you are a businessman, you're like, no, that's unnecessary overhead. That's unnecessary overhead. I'm not going to keep. That's like keeping employees just in case you might get work. They would never do it. You would never say, hey, as a business owner, I need to hire 100 employees and keep them on the payroll in case I get this business. Doesn't that sound stupid? Right? If from a businessman's point of view, a capitalist's point of view, it sounds stupid. But if you are thinking about your family, which is something a little more social, right? You would say, ooh, let me spend money on my son to get a tutor for math because I know eventually he is going to have to go to college. So, but for me, that's nothing but cost. It's cost, because the benefit isn't for me. The benefit is going to eventually be for my son. The benefit is going to be for my daughter. It's not going to be for me. It's going to be for them. So if I ran my family like a business and wanted to make sure that I had as much profit as possible, I would never pay for him. I would never do that. You know what I mean? Because it would lose my profit. So that's the problem. I mean, that's the reason why you can't, why in capitalist systems, when something like that happens, everything's gonna what do you call it? Domino. It's gonna be a domino effect. It's gonna be a domino effect. And that's another reason why you have why you have massive what they call it, whether it's a setback or a recession or whatever, that has a lot to do with capitalism as well. And I know somebody's out there saying, I'm with you, Fannon, until you come with all this socialism. Dude, I'm not arguing for or against it. I'm just telling you what it is, right? And that's not a matter of argument. It's just a matter of fact that is how it operates. So that's what happened when they started running hospitals for profit about 20 years ago. Yeah, you should never run a hospital for profit. You run a hospital's run to take care of people. Exactly, the domino effect. Thanks, Burkmar. You got me back on point. Irish people are some of the coolest people I've ever met. Big Dogs 513. I'm gonna be straight with you. Of all the European folk, the classes of European folk that I have enjoyed being around the most, outside of the ones that may be police officers, are Irish people. I like Irish food. I think Irish people are funny, and Irish people are a little bit different. They're a little bit different. Now, once they become, the whole, in America thing, that might be something different. But the actual Irish people from Ireland, I tend to like them a lot. You know what I mean? Because they've been in a really rough situation. But here's the domino effect, right? And this is why you get depressions. This is why you get recessions. It's this. Capitalism is based on what they refer to as the free market, right? And by free, we mean unplanned. There's no planning. If I, for example, want to create a business, and I'm doing this, right? And I say, I want to start a business. I'm going to create a product that I think people might need, right? Now, say that I have a bunch, or people are willing to buy. That's the better way to say it. The people are willing to buy. So I take my money and I invest it in a product that people are willing to buy, that I believe people are willing to buy. Okay. And then you do that too. And everybody does that. Everybody in industry that is entrepreneur or a business, or a corporate, they're all going to do products that you think they believe will bring them profit, and that consumers will be willing to consume, right? Well, what's the problem? What's the problem with that? The problem is that in times that when there's serious, like when there's one problem in one sector, right? So say, for example, the housing market crashes. Okay. Well, when the housing market crashes, then people no longer have the ability or have the desire to buy your product, right? So because they say, oh no, I don't need that. That's not something essential. I have no money. The only thing that I'm going to buy are things that are essential, right? So you have a society that's based around each individual's the idea about what should be in the market versus a planned market where you say, look, this is what we need. We have a country. This is what we need. We need industries to produce ventilators. We need industries to provide this type of food or to build these type of things. And the economy is actually planned. Right. And so if you want to get into a business, then you need to get into a business that is going to actually serve the greater good and be, of your society. But the domino effect with it is with the way we have it now, and you see it all the time. Once something happens to one sector, right? One sector, whether it is especially like the housing, something happens to the housing industry, then it just all of a sudden the auto industry has problems. The what other auto industries, your computer manufacturers, your small businesses, your restaurants, right? Because now people don't have you get it. It just ripples through the entire economy. And it's because there's no planning, because it's all based on the whims of people with the money to invest. And they're guessing at what it is that people want. And then they will market to try to convince you that you need something that you probably otherwise do not need. So it's just a big problem, dude. You say, yes, Fannon, trickle down depreciation of industries. Thank you very much for a much better term for the concept that I was trying to explain. But I'm not saying that but see, somebody will say, you're sounding like a socialist. Well, dude, what do you got now? What's the military industrial complex is extremely social, extremely socialist. But anyway, he said, I can't stand that. A5, at least Trump let me know he doesn't like me. Shit, Juniper B. Shit. Hey, man. Dude, Wilder needs. Oh, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Greenmont Avenue sparks off the conversation. Deontay Wilder ain't got to say shit. Deontay Wilder been telling you. What's he got? You want him to say it again? No, the rest of these bozos need to speak out. Deontay Wilder ain't got to speak out. What's going on, B-Ham? For what? You asking me to speak out. You need to speak. Why aren't you speaking out about it? Dog, what do you mean? I've been talking about this shit for 3 years straight on this channel. What year is it? Yeah, it's 2020. Started in 2017. It's 3 years of talking about it. What do I got to speak out about? Deontay Wilder already let you know. He already let you know my people are suffering to this day. And you guys made a fucking meme about it. You bozos. You made a meme about it. It was a fucking joke. Don't you remember that? You fakes. You frauds. You frauds. Y'all are some frauds. Let me just point it out. Y'all are some frauds. Okay? I ain't been called a racist in a week. I used to get, before this shit popped off, I was getting called a racist at least 3 times a day for saying something positive about black people. I was a racist. Ain't nobody called me that shit in a week. You're using the same term for me as you were using for the policeman that did that to George Floyd. You use the same term on me every day. Every day. Every day. Over and over. Black people calling me racist, you fucking frauds. How you doing? How you doing over there? Silent as a church mouse, huh? Silent, trying to act like somebody need to speak up now. No, you need to shut the fuck up is what you need to do. Stop fucking grandstanding. Because you weren't saying shit about it before. You need to shut up. How about that? How about that? What that little white girl say? Meet me on my side. How about that? Yeah, how about that? How about you shut up? How about that? Because I know I've been saying the same thing. I know it. You ain't said shit. You motherfuckers trying to get people's channels taken down for saying it. You guys making memes of Deontay Wilder for supporting black people. Fucking fat ass, what's his fucking name? What's that fucking clown's name? Jason Whitlock. Because Deontay Wilder comes out in one of the most beautiful ring entrances I have ever seen. One of the most powerful and beautiful ring entrances I've ever seen. And this big fat monkey called it a Zamunda shoot. What do you call it? A Zamunda, Wakanda, Zakunda? Some shit he called it. Just shit on it, dog. Just shit on it. Just shit on it. Y'all ain't real. Y'all ain't real. You ain't real at all. And y'all go separate. Y'all keep protest with them. I ain't interested, homie. I ain't interested. It said Brock said he just got fired. He got fired ahead of time, is what they did. They let him go ahead of time. Oh no, our dog and pony show is about to, our worldwide dog and pony show is about to start. We can't have Jason Whitlock around here. We don't need you coons now. A whole bunch of coons got put out of a job. But don't worry, they'll be back. Don't worry. Give it a year. They'll be back and full. Give it a year and a half. They'll be right back dogging you for saying what everybody else is walking through the streets, waving signs about. Why you gotta make it all about race? Why you gotta make it all, the man got killed? Well, it didn't have anything to do with his race. Yeah, really? Now you got the dude. You said, Fannon, when you said fat ass, I thought you were talking about good old Dan Rayfield. Nah, I'm talking about another big fat ass. And I can say that because I got a little jiggle around here too. Okay. That's self-deprecating, but hey, dog, I know at a certain point in time, you can back your ass. Once your belly hits your fucking knee, I know you got a clue. Okay. Once you started walking down the street looking like you was about to tip over and fall on your fucking face, you knew. Okay, it's time to walk a couple extra blocks a day, and maybe just one Philly cheesesteak, not 4. Okay. Anyway, AJ speaking out after mocking Wilder for speaking on it for years. It's the thing to do. Shut up the entire. No, you know what though? I don't know about AJ. I think AJ. I have to look back, but I don't think AJ was ever. I don't think AJ. AJ ain't no. AJ's not a. What's his? He's not like a Jason Whitlock. He doesn't strike me like that. I mean, I got my issues with Anthony Joshua, and he said some foul shit about Black Americans, right? That I will not repeat because it's still as far as I know, it's not been confirmed. But my understanding is that he said some real foul shit about us. But it is what it is. He said, yeah, whitewashed. Said he ain't that bad. Yeah, he ain't that bad. He's not that bad. AJ's an employee. Off topic, but did someone catch Trina's comments on? No, I don't want to see. Why would I want to hear what Trina got to say about the protest? I want to see Trina. Trina. Man, come on, dog. AJ is generally a good is generally a genuine. I think you mean genuinely or generally a good guy. I think he seems like, quite honestly, he does seem like he's a decent guy. He does. But he should have fought Deontay Wilder and all that money talk and all that Eddie Hearn shit. Dog, no. You know what I mean? No. Now, as far as Trina, dude, I don't really want to hear. Dude, none of these celebrities' viewpoint is any more important than anybody on this channel. That's the thing. That's like, and it drives it home. You know what really drives it home to me? Watching people do their live streams, because they can't be in the big studios with the team full of producers and the world-class camera, and the $30,000 camera and the the big, the $50,000-$100,000 production set that they got around them to make everything look crisp and clean. When they don't have that and they're on a camera just like this one, sitting in their living room talking, I'm like, wow. At least 50% of what made this dude, made these people worth listening to, just disappeared. Because they're not saying anything. They're not saying anything any more than anybody else is. And you're more apt to catch, like I really do prefer to listen to academics about topics. And it's not because the academic, not because of the argument that they make necessarily, but when it's a true academic like Cornel West, even though I might disagree with him, you can listen to what he says, and then after you get done listening, there's going to inevitably be a bunch of shit that you don't understand. And you can go back to what he said, look it up, and try to understand it and put what he says in context, right? And then and understand when he says neoliberal, because he talks fast and all that stuff, and all that unnecessary shit he does, in my opinion, all the overly flowery shit he does, but his mind is sharp as a razor blade, dog. He's sharp as a razor blade. That is an intellectually gifted, very hardworking, sharp man who has been on the issue for a very long time. So listening to him is like listening to him is like listening to like scrapbook boxing about boxing, because it is something that he has really immersed himself in, right, for years and years. And the academics can have disagreements with one another for certain. However, you have a higher chance of really educating yourself while you're listening to him. That's the better way to say it. That you have an opportunity to educate yourself while listening to somebody that you may not agree with. You know what I mean? Like Thomas Sowell is one of the biggest Toms in the history of fucking mankind, in my opinion. However, you can still listen to what he has to say and get a better understanding for economics. If a lot of people that are just bumping off at the lips are giving their opinion, and you might know less about economics after you get done talking to them. You know what I mean? But when you read like a Thomas Sowell and then you go to say like a Mark Blythe, right? They're both economists, or like a Richard Wolff, right? You got Thomas Sewell, Richard Wolff, Mark Blythe. They all have different viewpoints about what they're doing. Thomas Sewell is the worst of them all, in my opinion, because he's all that humans are evil by nature and selfishness is essential to the success of society. Selfishness drives and motivates production. The stupidity of that basic premise, you know what I mean, makes me want to just ball his book up, throw that shit away. But if you want to understand the discipline of economics and how you go about that argument and the fundamentals of it, then he is very much worth reading. Do you know what I mean? Because you can learn from him, even without agreeing with his argument. Because there's a difference between presenting the facts to you, right, and the argument that you make with the facts. That same one was friends with 69. I'm not sure what that is, man. What do you mean about that? What do you mean by that? Fannon, is live boxing back in June 9th? Yeah, it is. I do believe it'll be. Yeah, man, these dudes going to go broke if they don't. Yes, it's going to start soon. It's going to start soon because these dudes going to go broke, man. Oh, Justin Stake to get my cash. Trina or Stacey Dash? Megan Good. Megan Good. If I had to choose between Trina and Stacey Dash, I'm going to go grab Megan Good and get the best of both worlds. It's the best of both worlds. Quite honestly, though, that's my wife. I married one like that, dog. I married one like that. Trina from here down. Megan from here. Trina from here down. Stacy from here up. Trina sold us. Man, come on, man. I mean, why are you listening to strippers? No disrespect to strippers, but she's a stripper. So what do I care? Truly. She can't sell me out. Unless she's trying to teach me, unless she's teaching me how to twerk, and I don't see me looking for that lesson anytime soon. I don't need this, and I don't need her help to rhyme either. I can rhyme. You know what I mean? I know what worms are. I know the concept of rhythm and rhyme. But nah, dog. Really, what MJM Fox? Yeah, my wife's is a solid dime, dog. Now we're older. You know, we're older now. I'm 50. She is close to my age because I ain't no cradle robbing dude. So, you know, my wife is an older, she older professor now. But you best trust and believe. She was shutting fucking traffic down, walking down the street when she was 22 years old. So hell yeah. Take that shit all day. Never settle, baby. Never settle. And and she ain't stupid. She's a PhD. Now she's a PhD. Educated college professor and still looks good. I wake up every morning like, woo-hee, yes. I wake up in the morning like, you was a lucky motherfucker, boy. What did you do? What did you do? Thank you very much. Yes, sir. That's why I always tell you, I don't need these, man, find somebody you really want. Never settle. Don't settle. Don't settle. Now, you might get yourself 3-4 options now. Now, if you get your ass 3-4 options, that ain't settling. You just got options. Like, oh, do I want that? Do I want that? Do I want that? Or do I want that? That's reasonable, but not this shit wants me, so I'll take that. Shit's easy. Don't be lazy about your shit. That's laziness. Don't be lazy with your women, okay? Straight up. Don't be lazy about it, dog. I told my son at an early age, boy, don't be lazy. Just because they like you don't mean that they're good for you, okay? Just because it's easy don't mean it's sweet, all right? St. Cruz and managing this oh, my bad. Yeah, don't cheat yourself. Said 3. What is that? What was that, man? Oh, yeah, dude, 4. 3-4. 3-4. Get you 3-4. 3-4 options. And then, hey, man, there you go. One of the quits that always dropping gems for non-salute. Thank you, man. And Killer, what are you drinking, bro? You going through a lot of stuff out here because of optional channels. Your wife is going to kill you. No, my wife's right in the room. She heard every word I say, dude. My wife will walk by and correct me. Like if I say something, I can't remember what it was, she'll like yell in the room. This is what it is, dummy. Nah, man. Me and my wife, number one, are friends. I ain't fucking off on my wife. Hell no. How could I? I never go nowhere. I never go nowhere. And this is Topo Chico. Love it. It's like pop, but with no fat, with no sweetness. It's got calcium in it. Somebody warned me about drinking too much of it. But anyway, man, so let's get on Deontay Wilder, man. I know, that we've been talking about a lot of stuff. Bert from Arlington says, salute to you, brothers and men with good wives. Salute. Yeah, man, get you one. And see, that's the problem with Tiger. He just ain't got the right one. Sit. Tiger, you just ain't had the right one. You can get one to your liking. You will get one to your liking, for sure. That's the beauty of black women. Provided you're not somebody that want to cut every other black chick out of the race. Like, she ain't really black. He ain't really black. If you do that shit, the pickings get a little slimmer. Okay. But if somebody says they're black, they got a black parent, you look them in their face and they clearly are Negro. Hey, welcome to the club. You qualify. Dog, there ain't nothing you can't, ain't nada you cannot get out of a black woman, dog. Nothing. I've seen you in pictures. I think you've seen pictures of my wife. Don't settle, bro. You're right. Don't settle, dog. No. Hey, I wish a dime piece, an intelligent dime piece on all of you. May that come your way. Okay? May it come your way. A family-oriented, hard-working, educated dime piece cannot be beat. Especially the types that reject their own beauty. The ones that reject it. Like the ones that are like, that's a privilege and I don't give a shit about it. No. Like, yes, I know everybody's always told me that shit. Whatever. And they can't take a compliment. Those are the ones. The ones that use their beauty to attract you, you should probably leave alone. You should probably leave alone. True story. This is how I got this is when I first saw my wife. True story. How long I lived? For 3 years. And then after law, maybe like back in 2006, I think I lived there for like a year. I get to the health issue. Any health issues for Wilder? I don't know. You out here hoping he doesn't take the fight? What do you mean health issues? Dude, we ain't even boxing yet, man. No. I don't know. He had some injury. But you trying to get that Joshua fight, huh? I see you. Hey, dude, throw Callie King out. Throw Callie King out. Somebody. Next motherfucker to try to weigh in on why Deontay. Why? No, I don't know, because I might be wrong. Dude, do not come here with no Deontay Wilder. Why isn't Deontay Wilder in the streets of Brooklyn or AC waving a flag around here, dog? Okay, Deontay Wilder. Thank you, MGM. Appreciate that. No, somebody said I fit in. I don't know. But look, man, I know y'all got personal disagreements, but I'm not doing one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to defend Deontay Wilder from shit that's just silliness. Deontay Wilder don't owe you nothing. Deontay Wilder ain't got to protest nothing. Deontay Wilder leading into a Tyson Fury fight, one of the biggest fights of the year, in the face of these people, said what my people have been going through for 400 years and still go through to this day. That's what he said. And he said it when nobody asked him to say it. He said it in an environment where he probably would have been advised by a media relations person not to say it. He's given interviews to 78 Sports TV in the position that he's in on his channel on a regular basis. He knows that is a black fight. That is a base of black fight fans. And it's 78 is a big channel and he's an important channel. But he treats 78 Sports TV like 78 Sports TV is ESPN. Like he's ESPN. Don't try to get Mike Tyson to do a guest spot on a small YouTube channel. Try it. It ain't fucking happening. Okay? It ain't happening. He ain't got to protest nothing. He's already proven. Oh, pro-black was an insult. I fit in. About 3 weeks ago, pro-black was an insult being thrown at black people by other black people on YouTube. These pro-black, remember when Andre Ward said, I'm not pro-black? Now, you know, hey, as much as you can love and love a fighter that you ain't never met, dude, Andre Ward is my guy, okay? I respect Andre Ward in all kind of ways. Think he's a bright guy. I love that he's a family man. I love that, you know, I love what he represents. I love him as a fighter. He's a terrific fighter. He's disciplined. I like almost everything I know. But he said, I'm not pro-black. It's an insult. They were insulting us with that. Now where you at? Are you hey, Andre, you pro-black? I dare you to get on TV right now and say you ain't pro-black. I dare you. Somebody, his PR person, if they got sense, would grab him by the neck and say, no, do not say that. Do not say that. You cannot say you're not pro-black. You are pro-black people. You are for black people. Do not say you're pro. Because, oh, no. He wouldn't say it now, would he? Would he? Of course not. See, but when you're riding, right, when you feel like there is now, see, here's something else too. I do believe that people like that and I have a lot in common. A lot in common. Because I'm fake, because they're fatalistic. Fatalistic. They don't believe, at least this is my impression, right? My impression. They do not believe that the problem can be solved. They do not believe that speaking up about it, talking about it, is going to make the people that are doing it do anything else, right? So, with me, I'm going to say it because, hey, man, even though I don't believe they're going to do shit about it, because they shit, what time is it? Oh, it's 450 years. That's what time it is. So since it's been going on that long and they ain't fixed it yet, and they don't seem like they're inclined to fix it, then I don't believe that they're going to be interested in fixing it. But that's not going to keep me from saying what I say, what I see, what we know to be the case. Right? It's not, I don't have a problem sharing uncomfortable truths or my beliefs that you might find uncomfortable. You have no idea. I look back at my page, like my YouTube page, and I think sometimes about the people I used to have regular conversations with. I haven't heard from some people in years. People that I was like every video, boom, 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 boom. And I still talk and still communicate with people. You know who I am with the page, dude. If you're a subscriber to the page and I constantly see you like Juniper P and Arce Life and, Big Dose and Woolbag, dude, you're going to wind up that I'm going to respond to you, dude. We're going to chop it up. That's what this whole show is about. But when I started talking about black people, they left. They went away. They went away. Never to be heard from again. AJ said there's no racism in boxing. He has built himself up as a sanitized opposite to Wilder and pro-black publicity when it's convenient. Look, man, some of these people just don't understand what it is. Because until you understand racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you think you know will only confuse you. Ishe Smith does not know what racism is. He does not know how it works. So he's confused. That's my observation of looking at him and listening to what he said. Because he believes, and I'm using him as a focal point. And I'm going to repeat, this is Neely Fuller Jr., but I'm going to repeat it. Unless you understand racism, what it is and how it works, everything else you know will only confuse you. As long as you think that racism is some feeling, is name calling, as long as you think racism is name calling, then everything else you see will confuse you. Because you won't understand that it's not just somebody calling you the N-word. It is a desire to mistreat you and control you because you have color in your skin, and it is nothing else other than that. It's a system that allows people without color in their skin to mistreat people with color in their skin. The ability to mistreat is the essential element. The ability to mistreat. That's the essential element. It is not name calling. It is not your dislike for a person as an individual. It is a system designed to allow people without color in their skin to mistreat people with color in their skin. And MJM Fox said, for their financial benefit? No. Not for their financial benefit, for their enjoyment and for their sense of superiority. Security and superiority, right? The financial system is just how you move, the mechanism by which you move money around, the mechanism by which you exchange goods for services. It is the ability to mistreat you, the ability to oppress you. Listen to the papal bull. Somebody can tell me. All infidels, you have the right to, and I forget it, in order for you, you have the right to basically to oppress all infidels. I can't remember the exact term for it, exactly what the phrase was. But to reduce to servitude, that's what it is. You have the right to reduce to servitude all infidels. So anybody that does not believe, now this is the Catholic Church saying it, right? So anybody that does not believe and follow the Pope, you have the right to reduce them to doing whatever it is you tell them to do. And since the Pope is the connector to speaking, is the Peter, right? The guy that's talking for God, God has ordained you to reduce to servitude like an animal all infidels. That is not about financial reward. That is about control and mistreatment. And when you look at what's happening in the streets, what do you complain about the organization, the blue organization that we talk about? What is the common thread there? Mistreatment. Their ability to mistreat you because you have color in your skin. So why would they be upset? Why don't they get upset about it? Think. Why doesn't it upset them for so many years? Because of the basic premise. They have the right to mistreat you because they're the judge about whether or not you're doing what you're supposed to do or whether you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And why? Because you have color in your skin, and that's it. It's not any more complicated than that, and the essence of it is not any more complicated than that, and you can look how it manifests itself, and you will see it. From sports teams, how hard is it to become a quarterback? What does a quarterback do in football? It tells everyone else where to go and what to do. And they did not want to give up that spot to anybody with color in their skin, because that would be a man where you get to see a man with your eyes telling other people what to do. Go there, go there, go there, sit down, get in your hut, hut. Nope, move, hike. I take the ball in my hand. I'm controlling I control. I'm in control. That is the symbolism behind the quarterback, or at least that's what you see what a quarterback do. Same thing where they used to say about point guards in the NBA. Because what does a point guard do? The point guard sets up the play and tells everybody else what to do. So for a very long time, they didn't want black people to be point guards. Why? Because it is an example of a person with color in their skin controlling and ordering people that do not have color in their skin, and they do not want to see it. Same thing harkens back to Jack Johnson, and you can hear it. You can hear it in the books. This is Sam Langford, boxing's greatest uncrowned king. I'm not going to find it in the book, but suffice it to say that there's newspaper articles talking about Jack Johnson, talking about the heavyweight division, and what they said is that there is a menace among us. There is a rising menace, and that that black people, the Negro, is beginning to excel in sports, especially pugilism, and is creating a threat to white supremacy. Because if the black man is the winner and is the best fighter, then that is directly against the concept of them being supreme. And if you're not supreme, and remember what supreme is, based on that papal bull, it is that you have the right to reduce to servitude all infidels. You have supremacy over them. If they don't do what you say, if they don't agree with think the way that you think, you have the right, if not the duty, to reduce them to servitude, because you are supreme in the eyes of God, and you are supreme in reality again on man, and that is your manifest destiny. That is your manifest destiny. Unless you understand racism and how it works, what it is and how it works, everything else will confuse you, because you won't understand why people have issues with Deontay Wilder. Well, if you take it in that context, it makes sense why people would be so hesitant to give Deontay Wilder his credit in the United States. How else could you explain 40 knockouts, 5-year title reign, millions of people watching him on television, fight in and fight out? But yet in their verbiage, he's nothing. He's nobody. He's only fought bums. Nobody knows who he is. Knows who he is. Support this guy. Eddie Hearn's guy. Eddie Hearn's guy. Because you know who the big battle was. The big battle for the heavyweight division before Tyson Fury entered it was between Deontay Wilder and Eddie Hearn. It was between Deontay Wilder and Eddie Hearn. Because Eddie Hearn wouldn't give Deontay Wilder the fight because he wanted Dillian Whyte to have the fight. Eddie Hearn was going to dictate who Deontay Wilder was going to fight, not Deontay Wilder. That was the battle, because they work for Eddie Hearn. And these people are supporting Eddie Hearn. They're not supporting Deontay Wilder. They're supporting Eddie Hearn. Now, respected Tyson Fury as being a great fighter, because I do believe he is. Okay? I believe he's a terrific fighter. But now they're talking about paying him $1 trillion. He thinks he's worth $1 trillion. Now, is he exaggerating? I talked about it in my video yesterday. Yeah, he's probably being a little over the top with it. But he, without a doubt, believes he's the most valuable fighter in all of the world. And why? Deontay Wilder had that same belt, the same belt for 5 years. And nobody said that by virtue of him holding that belt, that he deserved to make more money than Canelo Alvarez or Floyd Mayweather Jr. But what is it about Tyson Fury that makes him holding the same belt that Deontay Wilder held in the same pay-per-view that Deontay Wilder fought in worth more than everybody in boxing? Unless you understand what it is and how it works, everything else you think you know will only confuse you. And now I can say it. Now call me a racist. Call me a racist again. And tell me that I advocated for the mistreatment of somebody because they have color in their skin. No. What you're saying is you think that I'm prejudiced, or you think that I'm being discriminatory. Could I be prejudiced? I could be. Absolutely, I could be. If I look at Eddie Hearn and I say, you know, he looks to me like a lot of other guys look, he acts like a lot of other people that I've had bad experiences with, so I think he may be like that. Yes, I would be prejudging him. But prejudging him, idiot fucking Ishay, is not racism. It's not a system designed to allow people to be oppressed because they have color in their skin. And when you have a definition for that, then you will not allow people to move you all over the fucking place. Move you everywhere. I had a conversation with my pops. Now, this is unreal, okay? This is unreal, and I'm talking a little issue. My dad is a beautiful man. It's a brilliant man. He's a beautiful man, too, in that I love him, right? Brilliant man, very well accomplished, highly educated, right? 35 years my senior. And we were sitting down and having a conversation. And when I said this, we were talking about racism and who was this, and I gave him this definition. I said, this is my definition, so we understand what we're talking about. I mean, by racism, I mean that somebody is allowed, that a group of people are allowed to mistreat other people based on the fact that they have color in their skin. That's my definition of racism. So now, when we start talking about racism and I say racism, you now know what I'm talking about. I don't mean when I say discrimination. That's what you mean. When I hear somebody say racism, I hear the word prejudice. I have to change it in my head. He only means prejudice. He doesn't really mean what I mean by that. And my definition is much more functional. And it explains much more. And it is much simpler and straight to the point. And what do you hear? All of a sudden, after Paulie Malignaggi, right? Paulie Malignaggi, just not 2 weeks ago, says that, you know, individual racism, that's an oxymoron. There is no individual racism. There is no individual. It is a system designed to allow people without color to mistreat people with color. And you look at every example that you can point to of it and tell me it doesn't fit that definition. Housing, not being able to have access to equal housing. What is that? That is mistreatment of somebody based on the color of their skin. Racial profiling, what is that? It is the mistreatment of somebody based on the fact that they have color in their skin. Slavery, African slavery, what is it? It is allowing somebody was allowed to be mistreated because they had color in their skin. Same thing works for sexism. You have been mistreated because you're a woman. And by the simple version that you are a woman, you are allowed to be mistreated. You are not allowed to work. You are not allowed to vote. Why? Because you're a woman. That's sexism. Sexism is not the fact that you think that women nag too much. That's not sexism. That is prejudice. If I decided that I did not want Steve Kim, because Steve Kim is Korean, on my show, that is not racism. That is discrimination. It is not a system that allows me to mistreat him because he has color in his skin. Unless you know what it is, shut up. So when I hear Trina talk, Trina shit go in this ear and right out that shit. Kanye West goes in this ear and right out there. Right in here and right out there. Because when you start, I immediately know you don't know what you're talking about. When the thing that offended me most about Drew Brees is that Drew Brees insulted black people hard. We both could do better. What the fuck can we do better? Based on the definition that I gave you for racism, what can I do better? If the system allows somebody to mistreat me because I have color in my skin, how can I get the color out of my skin? Please, Drew, let me know what I can do better to get this color out of my skin. Because this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And this is all I'm doing. This is what the problem is. This. And people want to act like this is not the problem are full of shit. Full-fledged full of shit. And the piggybacking people, they're piggybacking because they are being mistreated. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. There's a lot of people being mistreated. A lot of people. I have no doubt whatsoever that people that are, the alphabet people are being mistreated. I have no doubt that working class people are being mistreated. I know that they're being mistreated. I know classism is real. But that done got jack shit to do with George Floyd, about what happened to George Floyd. Nothing. Nothing. He was killed because he had this in his skin. And because the people that did it believed that they had the right to mistreat him because of it. Period. Which is why people are so shocked that this can be happening to little white girls. Oh my God. Can you believe that this happened to Betsy? Oh shit. How did that? Oh my God. You ain't been surprised at all that it happened to Keisha. You ain't surprised about Keisha. Shit, Keisha got ass snatched up. Oh, these are a bunch of little kids just playing outside of a party, just playing around, having a good time. You got snatched up. You weren't shocked. You ain't nothing about that shocks you. Because it's commonplace. And why is it commonplace? Because of racism. Because there's a system in place that allows people to be mistreated because they have color in their skin. Fuck y'all if you don't understand that. And I'm tired of you dummies not getting it. It's not that complicated. You do not need to have a PhD in Afrocentric studies and print 15 fucking books to know that. You know it. You know it. Oh, I wasn't acknowledging trolls right now. Drew Brees thought he was, no, Drew Brees is what Drew Brees is. He's what he is. He thinks that it's justifiable to mistreat people because they have color in their skin. And he can't admit it, so he deflects. Oh, no worries, Junior P. So he deflects. That's what he did. He deflected. Well, I will never support anybody that disrespects the flag. What does the flag got to do with this? What does the flag got to do with it? I'm still struggling. What does the flag have to do with it? Because you kneeled? First of all, kneeling is a sign of respect. Kneel before me. Kneel before me. What happens when kings walk in the room? What are you supposed to do? You take a knee. You take a knee. You take a knee. If somebody if somebody stood up at attention and looked at you and spoke like this, just think about this. Just full of shit. If somebody stood up and looked at you, standing straight up, and they listened to you were singing a song, and they were like, because some people put their hands on the art, other people put their hands behind their back, other people cross their arms right over left. Who do you think would be giving you more homage? The guy that stands up and listens to you, or the guy that gets all the way on a knee, looks you dead in your face, bows his head, and listens? Bowing is a sign of subservience. It is the ultimate sign of respect. It's a sign of respect. But yet you don't think he sees that? He sees that. He just don't give a fuck about people. He just don't give a fuck about the issue. That's it. He just don't care about the issue. And people let people off with these cornball ass arguments. They let people out with these cornball arguments. The thing you know don't make sense on their face. You're upset that somebody kneeled? What? People kneel to ask women to marry them. He's taken the position that a man would take with a woman in order to ask them to become one with him. That's the message of on your knee. You get on one knee and you ask the woman that you love to marry you. On what planet is that disrespectful? It's just fundamentally stupid. And since it is, go back to what the definition is again. He believes that they have the right to mistreat you because you have color in your skin. That is what makes sense. It does not make sense that a person of the intelligence of Drew Brees, somebody that is a quarterback in the NFL, that took that whatever test it is that they give to see if you can see patterns, if you can recognize this, that, and the other thing, basically that big old intelligence test that they gave him, there is no way Drew Brees does not understand that kneeling is a sign of respect. It is what you call a red herring. And what he did was he said it's everybody. Well, everybody's the problem. Are we in a perfect situation? No. Look, motherfucker. Why are you answering a question nobody asked you? There ain't nobody on this planet that asks and thinks we in some perfect situation. You don't think it. I don't think it. So why are you addressing it? Yeah, maybe there's something wrong out there. Not a big deal though. But I will never accept anybody that does this, even though they didn't do it. He's just a liar, man. He's a liar. He's a liar. And most likely he's a racist. And a believer in it. A believer in it. I like to listen to what people say. And he ain't that stupid. Because there's a lot of things. I will tell you something for sure. Europeans are not stupid by and large. There are a lot of stupid people in every subdivision of the human race. But they're not dumb, man. They're very intelligent. Very, very intelligent people. And they come up with cornball ass arguments to deflect and get off and make things more complicated than they really are. You're black, dude. That's it. Why does racism affect you? Because you're a nigga. That's why. See, they used to be real straight with it. Used to tell you straight to your face. Because you're a nigga, boy. What? What do you mean? You're a nigga. Everybody knew that. I had a conversation, man, dude, from an early childhood, man. Early childhood. It's early child. Like, I couldn't have been more than like maybe 7th grade. No, it wasn't 7th grade. It was like 5th grade. And this lady, this Italian lady tried to explain her use of the word nigger and tried to explain to me that, nigger means ignorant. You're not ignorant. So you're not a nigger, right? Because I speak like people in their neighborhood because that's the neighborhood that I grew up in. I had the quote unquote proper diction, right? So I'm not a nigger. No, I am. And it was never confused me. Nobody knew if I was ignorant the first time they called me that. I walked up into school and people started calling me that. I hadn't taken a test yet. I hadn't said anything to anybody. No. I have color in my skin. And you see it from a country mile away. That's the problem. Stop acting like it's some other problem. And in boxing, the problem's there too. The problem's in boxing too, Ishay. The problem is in boxing too. Why is it that Al Heyman has been going out of business in the media for 5 years, right? Report after report after report about Al Heyman going out of business. He's tanking. He's going out of business. He stole all these people's money. They want the money back, right? All of that. How many times have you heard anybody say that DAZN is going out of business? These people. That DAZN is going out of business. That Eddie Hearn robbed DAZN. That Eddie Hearn got a bunch of money for his fighters that were way more than what it was worth, and that DAZN didn't get anything in return. Where are the notes about that, Steve Kim? You get him about now. They're two since they were all up in arms, right? All up in arms, and I got a super chat, my man KQKC. They're all up in arms about how Al Heyman had gotten over on an investment fund and how he had stole all these fighters from Golden Boy and how he was terrible for boxing by elevating the prices, right? Dogged out the PBC. To this day, if you say anything positive about black fighters, who are you? You work for the PBC. It's a PBC channel. How much does Al Heyman pay you? Right? All of that. But you see what they accused Al Heyman of is literally what Eddie Hearn did. Literally what he did. And can't nobody argue about it. Nobody can argue about it. It's literally what Eddie Hearn did. Eddie Hearn took a bunch of money from an investor, pitching the idea that if you give me this $1 billion, I can go out and get these fighters and I'll get them away. Then they're all available, right? I'll snatch them up and I'll bring them over to you. I need $1 billion, which is twice as much as Al Heyman was supposed to have gotten. Right? And then DAZN has not only not been successful, they've damn near tripled their prices. Eddie Hearn has flaunted the law in Las Vegas, flaunted it by convincing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. To take his fight to Arizona after Nevada had suspended him. That's literally a violation of the Ali Act. It is a spit in the face of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and Eddie Hearn did it, and they didn't say shit about it. But they were reporting on Al Heyman being sued for ridiculous accusations of violations of the what were the violations of the Muhammad Ali Act, and also I can't remember what's the name of the antitrust and the antitrust regulations, and supported it. How do you now? This is where I come back to this. How do you explain that? How do you explain? Because we are logical human beings. How do you explain the treatment in the media of Al Heyman, who has never said a word to them, and the treatment of Eddie Hearn? How do you logically, how do you explain it? Sherman antitrust law. Thank you very much, Gregory White. One has color. Here's my explanation. Very simple. One has color in his skin. As a consequence, they have the right to mistreat him. One does not. So they do not have the right to mistreat him. That's the difference. It's no more complicated. Anybody tries to make it more complicated is just trying to confuse you. And confusion is the number one weapon of people that support those systems. Because if you are confused, you're all over the place. You don't know what's going on. You can't see it coming. So again, understand what it is. And once you understand what it is, and you get yourself a definition for it, that makes sense to you. And that's all it has to do. It has to make sense to you. And it has to hold up. It has to hold up when you apply it to multiple situations. And my definition, that's not my definition. That's actually Neely Fuller Jr.'s definition. That definition is the one without a fail that makes sense. It is without a fail that makes sense. It is not, we don't work hard because, dude, come on, man. Don't nobody work harder than a slave. Don't nobody work harder from a slave. Nobody. Ain't a person on this planet worked as hard as black people have worked in the United States. And ain't even close. Go find me somebody that works as hard as a slave. You ain't going to find it. And they were treated like shit for working hard. It ain't got nothing to do with hard work. It has something to do with manifest destiny. Pay attention in social studies, but don't listen to their conclusions and the arguments that they make. Use your own logic. Fannon, polarization in boxing increased after Floyd and Heyman created PBC. That's why so many ran to Hearn. That's the natural order of things to them. They're supposed to call the shots. Oh, without a doubt, dude. Oh, you can. Hey, dude, let me tell you, man. I had a conversation at work yesterday with a lady, right? And this lady is somebody that I speak to on a regular basis. And I have to say, can you say that again? Can you explain that again? I struggle. There's not a lot of people, dude, that I struggle listening to. But she's a brilliant woman. She's not only run major organizations for banks, major departments for major banks. She also has run major departments for major cities. And other black people act like she don't know what the fuck she's talking about. And she's up there listening. She was like, I'm getting sick of this. She told me, I'm getting sick of this. I'm getting sick of this. I'm talking to these people as if they're talking. These are black people talking to other black people as if these other black people don't know what they're talking about. Like they're stupid. But if they go, and when they go, and that's when they go to talk to, this is a company that went to go talk to a black people, to partner with black people on, and it's a black organization that they need to partner with because they have the resources. It's it's like social justice. It's related to social justice. Their mission is social justice. And there's a technological application that people are trying to apply, right? But there's a social justice aspect to it. So the two companies had to partner, right? Won't say who the companies are, but they had to partner. They have to come up with a teaming agreement to partner in order to reply to the municipality that is asking for them to do the work. So these two black companies, black-owned companies come together. Now, the technology is owned by a black guy, but most of the employees that do the technical work are not black. The organization that they're going to is all black. But the people that work there at the organization, they're people that these are Harvard educated, right? Former CEOs of companies, right? Major hitters. And this lady is shocked that these people talk to them as if they're stupid. And they're in the meeting acting as if, well, we got to find some way for these people to understand this because they just won't understand it. But if you go and you look, and other times you go and it's a group of people that are not black, they never take that attitude. They take the attitude and they assume that the people will understand what it is that they're saying. You know what I mean? So it's not just, my dad says this. My dad says there's two groups of people that don't think black people can do anything. White people and black people. Those are the two groups of people that don't think black people can accomplish anything. And I think that there is some real truth. There's real truth to that. Real truth to that. Which is, quite honestly, the greatest legacy of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Because I will tell you this about Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather Jr. does not think that way. He doesn't think that way. Not following Al Heyman. Not doing that. As I said, it's the truth. It's the truth. I know because I'm in that environment. I work in that environment. And I'm a relatively well-educated person who has been in a professional environment for the majority of my professional career. I've been in a professional environment. And I promise you that a lot of times your biggest challenge will be black people in there. Some of them be your biggest challenges. Biggest challenges. Anyway, man, I'm way over on my time, man. I got to go super chat. My man, KQKC, who's probably already on. Man, make sure y'all go over there. Do me a favor, man. Share the videos. If you guys could check out the videos that we do a little later today that'll be coming up. If you wouldn't do me a favor and just check the video out, even if you don't have time to get all the way through, because these videos that I did today have a lot more social, not hardcore social commentary in it or direct, but I think that you'll get my point, and I think a lot of it is very valuable. I really had a good time doing the videos that I did today, and if you wouldn't mind sharing my videos on social media with people, I would really appreciate that. And again, I appreciate you, and I thank you guys so much. Before I go, I know I got to read another super chat. Give me 1 second. I know there was a couple super chats that came in, and I want to get those before I go. But this whole thing has had me on. It's just had me going for the last. It's had me going for the last few days. PSA, man, my man Big Dog Willie said, "Fuck Dillian White. Salute to the kings and queens. Yes, sir. Salute." Focus Ball said in Jamaica post-slavery they got other races to do our work. All of the first wave coolie workers died doing what we did for 100 years. You got that. And dude, you know what too? I ain't even get on the Caribbeans. Now I know Joseph Ball, some of y'all Jamaicans, some of y'all are some of y'all are from the islands, dog. Some of y'all need to check yourselves with that shit too. For real. Y'all need to check yourselves. Hey, Fannon, do you think black brothers and sisters in UK get treated like black people here? The same, worse, or the same? I think it's the absolute same phenomenon. Same phenomenon, less severe. So now, same phenomenon, less severe. They're probably, from what I've observed, well, first of all, their police don't carry guns. So I think they carry little batons. They don't carry guns. So they don't live in like this crazy Wild West gun culture that we live in. Okay. The UK, and this is what I think the reason for that is, that the UK was not conquered. That's where they're from. If anything, a long time ago, it was an outlet of the Romans, right? So they weren't founded like we were founded. We were founded on racism. That was the foundation. That's what created us, the United States. Without that, there is no United States. Without this concept, without the concept that I described for you, there is no United States. If there is not a belief that you have the right to mistreat people with color in their skin, right? Because they have color in their skin, there would be no United States. Because there would not have been the extermination of the people that were here before they got here. There would not have been a mass transit of Africans over to the United States, right? There wouldn't be any of that if they didn't believe they had the right to snatch you because you were black and to take your shit because you were black and brown, right? So in the United States, we were founded on that. The UK was not. They weren't founded on that. And on top of it, they didn't even enter the game until late, right? The original people that were responsible for the colonization of the Western Hemisphere were not the British. It was the Spanish and the Portuguese, right? Followed by the French, then followed by the British. And if I remember my history correctly, I believe that the reason that they really took over the slave trade was the invention of the clipper ship. So like they had a technological advancement that allowed them to do it more effectively. They were very late to the game, right? That's why the largest black population in the world outside of Africa is not in the United States. It's in Brazil. In Brazil, they speak Portuguese. South America, they speak Spanish. In Canada, large parts of it speak French. The southeast section of the United States used to speak French. That's why you got the Creoles and you have the Cajuns and you have the whole Louisiana. You have that whole Louisiana culture that really took place before the Louisiana Purchase, which was when they said, "Nah, we taking over." The British colony, or the descendants of the British colony, decided they were going to take over the whole thing. And then, of course, you have after that, you have the establishment of the Monroe Doctrine, which said that the United States declares dominion over half of the planet. Right? That's not a byproduct. I mean, that's not the UK. So they don't have the history of violence that we have. They don't have the love of it that we have. We love it. We love it. You know what I mean? Everything. Look on TV. Every other thing is about somebody getting killed. Violence is so part and parcel to our culture that it's going to happen consistently, and it is great, and it is romanticized. I have to go look at the UK television that I've seen. It's not as severe, but I can't say that I've watched a lot of their television. You know what I mean? But obviously I haven't. I'm not there. So somebody can tell me, I know there's British people that are in the chat that can speak on it a lot more intelligently than I have. The British don't have to be extreme because the whites have manted the land. Oh, the landed majority, they secure it. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Dude, they have problems amongst themselves. You know, not even themselves. It seems like a lot of their issues, there's a lot of separation there. The Brit, like the Scots, from what I can see looking in. You know what I mean? Like the traveler community and the treatment of the Irish, the treatment of the Scots, and the killing of the Celtic religions and things like that. There's, you know what I mean? It's just it's different than it is here, man. We were born in violence. We were born by it. We were made in violence. We were freed by violence. We love it. And I say that as an American, right? Love it. And it trickles down into the Black community too. Because we romanticize violence a lot. I listen to my son's rap music and it's violence, 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 violence. Violence, 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 violence. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. I got a clip for this. I got a clip for that. That proves to you that we're Americans too. You know, we can't exist here without adopting a lot of the same characteristics, which is why I read to you the other day, Frantz Fanon, where Frantz Fanon said, hey, man, it's not going to do us any good as African nations. He's speaking specifically to African nations, but I believe that it also applies to the individual. That to aspire to be like the people that have oppressed you, whether it be their money, their cars, their pensions for violence, the appreciation for their tastes, that if all we're going to do is become the same type of people that they are, then we might as well stay where we are. Because all we're going to do is be a gross caricature of them until we're willing to become something that is different, significantly different, and it is actually better in the world. Then why should anybody, then why would the world be in a better place if the oppression that we face ends? If all we're going to do is become the same people with the same thoughts and the same view of the world that were oppressing us, if we just replace them, because all then we're going to do is find somebody to replace us in the position that we are in. So I think it's reasonable, there needs to be a real fundamental change in the way that we see our own reality. And that's not easy. And that's why it's just another reason why I say it's just so important that you understand what racism is and you don't get confused. Because if you know that that's what it is, then everything like capitalism, socialism, totalitarianism, fascism, they all become just another mechanism by which we, as people with color in our skin, can be mistreated. It's just a different method. It's just a different organizational structure. It might be a different way that goods and services are transitioned between people, but essentially it will be the same thing. So when people say, "Oh, you're a socialist," no, I'm not. I can point out what socialism is, what it means, and what I believe the strengths and weaknesses of it to be, right, relative to capitalism. But I am not under any delusion. I believe that if we just change socialism, we change from capitalism to socialism, and we don't address the fundamental issue that related to racism, which is the mistreatment of people. As long as we're okay, as long as we still abide by the concept that it is okay to mistreat someone because they have color in their skin, it doesn't matter whether or not it's a major Fortune 500 corporation that is controlling the monetary system that allows that results in the mistreatment, right? Or that enables the mistreatment, or whether it is the government with social programs that allow the mistreatment. You're still going to be mistreated at the end, which is why it's important, I think, to understand that. Because until you understand racism, what it is and how it works, everything else will confuse you. The difference between capitalism and socialism, when you look at it in that point of view, becomes irrelevant. Right? Sexism, the treatment, if you're a woman and you think your mission to be treated better as a woman, it might not become irrelevant, but it becomes secondary to something that affects all people with color in their skin, right? Because sexism, if you end sexism, that doesn't end racism. That just means that women who do not have color in their skin are not mistreated, because you are still able to be mistreated because you have color in your skin. And since you give birth to either men or women, your children, and you don't know which one is going to be, you just know for sure that your child's going to be black. That's the only thing you know for sure, she's going to be black. Then your primary responsibility, I believe, if you were from a perspective of a father, and I would suspect from the perspective of a mother, would be to solve the problem that affects both you and your brother, your son and your daughter, and to get that problem solved first. And once you can solve the mistreatment of people, the basic concept of mistreatment, then you might be in the position then to deal with the mistreatment of people based on the fact that they are a woman. But that's my viewpoint, not necessarily your viewpoint, or not something that you need to abide by. That's what I think, because I know women are mistreated, because that they're women. And I believe in my heart that there are men that believe that because somebody's a woman, that they have the right to do whatever they want with that woman. And that is the true essence of sexism. It is the mistreatment of a woman. It's not even equality. It's not even equality. What does equal mean? If you mistreat two people, they're equal. You could be mistreating both. How about equal? That's what I'm saying. People, and I'm trying to teach this to my son, read the words equality. What does that mean? It means equal. Well, shit, if you're mistreating everybody, why do I want to be equal with somebody that's being mistreated? I just don't want to be mistreated. And I'm on the planet Earth, dude. I'm of the earth. I'm from the earth. I have the right. I should have the right to eat and be happy just like you are. There's nobody that should be in a situation where they don't have the ability to eat because they were put on an earth where the food would be given to them on a regular basis. All they got to do is go catch a birdie. But in this system that we have, you can't even do that. You can't leave the system to say, well, I'm really hungry. I'm about to go shoot this bird, shoot this squirrel. Nope, because those are owned. I'm going too much into it. But anyway, man, much love to everybody. Thank you guys so much. What is C? Oh, no, that's not for me. Hey, I'm about to drag YouTube for 72 hours coming up. I believe I'm about to shadow ban of Twitter, which is cool. Oh, you said I believe I am shadow banned by Twitter. And man, get used to, it is what it is, man. But look, man, I'm going to get out of here. Much love to everybody. I'm way over my time. Go to KQKC. Thank you for the great conversation and all that good stuff. I'm so sorry. Continue this on Patreon. I'm going to continue to do the videos on Patreon about it because I wanted to switch to boxing on the Patreon. I really did.
but I just don't think that it's just not in my heart right now. You know what I mean? Like this conversation is in my heart. This is what I think that I can contribute that is of value to people. And when Neely Fuller Jr., if you know, man, go listen to that man, dude. Go listen to that dude. Anyway, it is what it is. And with that, I'm out. Peace, man. What's going on, B-Man 910? Holla at you, though. Catch you next time.